What's up, guys? Welcome to my channel. In today's video we got a 2005 Mercury Mountaineer, and we're gonna do the rear brake pads and rotors. As you can see, these are in terrible condition. Okay, brake pads have a little bit of life, but they gotta go. Inner pad has no life, so inner pad is worn out more than the outer pad, so that's another indication that it's not perfectly lubricated brake system here. So anyways, we do got some pads and rotors right here, and in today's video you guys gonna see the difference between a cheap brake job and a good brake job. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove all this. We're gonna remove the rotor. There is an e-brake inside, which we're gonna clean it and a little bit of adjustment, and we're gonna lubricate the slider pins here, and the system should be good. Anyways, let's get this job going. So we got Evolution brake pads here. So these are the brake pads. I got part number on these Evolution. So get yourself a good set of brake pads. Rotors, I usually use a white box, and there's some part numbers for these. Anyways, your choice. Get yourself good brake pads, good rotors, whatever you like, put them on, and just make sure you do the job as good and clean as possible. Okay, to start off this job, so this vehicle is pretty much very simple. You're gonna take off the two 10mm back here. So counterclockwise is the way they turn. So pretty much if you're looking from the back end of it counterclockwise, which is a rotation going down on this driver's side rear. So there's a 10mm. Okay, and then we got another one here. Okay, so we're gonna remove them both to make the job nice and simple and easy. And what we're gonna do here is, once this is off, we're gonna let the caliper sit up here. Okay, so this is that. And what we're gonna do next is, if this baby doesn't come out, you can also put a screwdriver in here and compress this baby, and just like that, to make your life easy. But notice these brake pads, when I put them in, you guys gonna see the difference. Okay, you see the pad, it has a notch here and a notch here and a groove in the center. Same thing on this pad, but in the bottom pads it's open here. Okay, there's no second notch on the edge, so it can slide through. So that's something that you need to be aware of. So what we're gonna do is, if you got space here, right here is perfect. So we don't need to take off the bracket because it's part of the hub here assembly, but there's no nothing that's blocking the rotor from coming off, so we can just bang this and it will come off. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna bang this rotor. Okay, it's pretty easy to come out. Sometimes this will be super jammed. Okay, sometimes even your emergency brake shoes in there. Okay, our hardware fell. Emergency brake shoes will be touching here so much that they won't even grip. They won't even let this go. So that's something you need to be aware of. There'll be a big fat lip here. That means you need to unadjust the brakes a bit. So here's our hardware that fell out. Okay, so this was here. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna remove the second one over here as well. Okay, so this is the little guy. Let's go back this side now. So if you're doing this job at home, just be safe. Lift in the car, bring it into the car, and jack it up properly. But this baby comes out. Okay, next step here is you need to clean the crap out of this. Okay, so wire brush will be a good thing right here. Okay, let's clean this baby. We're gonna clean this baby. It doesn't have to be something that's gonna super duper shiny. Okay, just make sure it's nice and clean so the hardware can sit flush. Okay, sometimes there'll be a rust buildup over here that would cause less of a space between from here to here, and your brake pads will be jammed in there. That will be one of the reasons why your brakes will go bad. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna clean the hub here also. So make sure the hub is nice and clean. The reason why you want the hub nice and clean is so the rotor can sit flush, and the rotor can, where Max's stuff is more good. Anyways, clean the crap out of the hub, because if the rotor doesn't sit flush, what's gonna happen is your brakes are gonna pulsate because the rotor is sitting crooked. Anyways, we're gonna throw some brake cleaner on all this. But what we're gonna do next is, you see this pad here? We're gonna take off this pad. This pad won't come out that easy, so I'm gonna go get a flathead screwdriver. So what we're gonna do here is we're gonna stick this baby right in there. You can simply just try to, you see in the back end, you can try to just lift it up. It does have a small little slot on the brake pad. I don't want to hit it with my tool here. So it does have a small little slot. I'm going to show you that once we get this baby out of there, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. So just try to pull it forward, push it in, and pull it forward. That'd be the way you're going to get it off. So you see these little holes? They go right through, and the little notch in there sits in there. So that's the reason why it's not going to be so easy to take this off. The inner pad simply just comes out. It does have these little retainers in the back, so that baby comes out. So what you want to do is here, you want to inspect if there's any leaks. You can check this behind this rubber boot. You can lift it up and look at it. If there's any fluid back there, it's a bad caliper. So make sure the surface here, where's my wire brush? Where did my wire brush go? So I just want to clean this up a bit right here, this area right here. So you do want the area behind here where the brake pad is going to sit clean, and this area clean here. So just the front end of this caliper got to be clean. So what are we going to do next is we're going to compress this piston. So now we're going to compress this piston. A lot of people use a C-clamp, so put all the brake pad here to compress it before you even remove it. I use this tool here. This tool has a perfect spot to sit on that piston. So what we're going to do is just squeeze this guy, and this caliper should just compress right in like a baby. Shouldn't be a difficult job for me to do there. And this guy is gonna simply just go right in. Okay, no effort here, okay, whatsoever. I could have just done it with 2 fingers. Anyways, that's done. So let's prep a few things. So first of all, before we do anything, I want to throw some brake cleaner on this. And you do need to adjust this a bit. So that's something I'm going to leave alone. I'm going to just give it a 1 or 2 click. You're going to see this click here, 1, 2, and that's it. Okay, now I just want to throw some brake cleaner here. So to eliminate all that dust, brake dust and everything out of here. Okay, even on the shoes there. Okay, I am going to recommend this customer new shoes, brake shoes. They told me this is all they want to do, because I did tell them that we should do this because this car's been coming to me for a long time. Anyways, that's done. So the next step here is lubrication, okay? The key here is lubrication. We're going to start off, so I don't get my hands dirty here and there. So we're going to start off these slider pins, okay? These slider pins, they slide pretty easy. You see that? That's perfect. But you do want to take them out if you decide, okay? You do want to take these out. So what we're going to do here is, let me go get some lube. Okay, so we got some silicone grease here. That's what I'm using here. I do have a video on this if you guys want to check that out, just about lubricating points on brakes. So anyways, we're going to clean it. This doesn't have anything on it, even though it's free. So what we want to do is, I am going to take this silicone. It's like a white silicone looking grease. I'm going to stick my brush in the inside there, okay? Just want to do that a tiny bit. The reason why I did it in there is because if I put it here, when I try to slide this on, this thing is gonna all scrape the whole grease off. Even though trying to do it this way is gonna make the same kind of effect, but it will at least get in there. So anyways, I'm gonna do this with the pin, and then make sure that the boot catches the pin edges. And we're gonna do the same thing here with this little guy. Okay, we're gonna clean this off, and I'm gonna take some lubrication here, the silicone grease, and tiny amount all over. I'm gonna just stick it in there, and that's it. That's all you need to do there. It's the same process on the opposite side. So this thing is nice and clean, and it shouldn't be that hard, okay? This brake job, if you take your time and you spend a good hour on it, that's fine. And if you're slower than that, and if you're not like in the mechanic field, it's okay. It'll take 2 hours. Even if it takes you a day, little by little, you get it done. Anyways, so if you have a caliper bracket that comes off with the middle of the 8 millimeter, 17 millimeter, 19 millimeter, take it off and clean this bracket off. So what we're gonna do next is we do need to use a little bit more lube, but different type of lube. So here's a good question for you guys. A person commented me in here, should I use grease here? So we're gonna put grease here, but he told me, the guy told me I shouldn't be using a grease here because the grease doesn't compress, but a little bit of an oil type like oil, motor oil, which will be slick. It will push out its way because it's easier for the travel. He said to use that instead. So if you guys have any comments or something that you want to say about that, do so down below in my videos. But we're gonna put a little bit of lube here because we're gonna put the hardware on top of this. A little bit of lube here. Okay, the hardware goes on there. Anyways, let me clean my hands, and we're gonna move on to getting the rotor. But before that, let's install the hardware. So inside our brake box, we got the brake pads in there, and we got two bags here with a couple of hardware. So these are the long ones, and these are the short ones. And I know we took off the short ones here, so we're gonna use the short one. This could be off a Ford because similar brake pads fit on Ford. So these are all four of these are the same. So they go from edge to edge, and make sure they're sitting flush. And I'm gonna get something to tap this, so nothing serious. So you can even use an old brake pad. So make sure they're gonna be flush on one end. Okay, that didn't go so well. Give it another attempt. Okay, you see that? If you find the correct spot, it's gonna go right in. So I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. So what my key here is, if I could get this side to sit right on the tip, then that back end should go in. Just tap, tap, tap. Make sure it sits flush, and that's perfect. So let's go get our rotor. Let's clean our rotor next. So here's our rotor. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna open one of the box. So talking about the rotor, on the rotor, you do have there's some oil-based lubricant on this, and the reason for that is so it doesn't rust out over time. Okay, so I don't know if my camera captured that. I cleaned the rotor with the brake cleaner, both sides and the inside there. And after that, this rotor doesn't have a direction. Some of them will have a hole. Like if you have Hondas and Toyotas, make sure you match that up. Anyways, this baby goes right on, and it shouldn't touch anything. It shouldn't touch here. It shouldn't touch in the back or the back plate. So that's set, guys. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna get our brake pads and put it onto that caliper. So notice in your box, you're gonna get 4 brake pads. And notice we did talk about these little guys, and when we was removing the brakes, you see these little. Okay, so what I did here was I selected the pads. I put these pads in. I don't know, my camera's just going banana. So this thing goes into the housing and it snaps in. Make sure the outer brake pad snaps in those little guys. So once you put it in, it will pop right in. Okay, then you put a little bit of grease. I'm using this grease here. Little bit of grease here, there, and there. Okay, and now I'm trying to get this caliper in. So to get this caliper in, again, mentioning it, I don't know if I'm mentioning it twice because I don't know if my camera will record, but push, it's gonna try to sit here, so you need to push them in so they could drop in the back. So you need to just help them a bit, okay? So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna get this. So again, the top end has to, you see how I just helped the slider pin to just come out? The top has to go in first. Make sure you slider pin it from the bottom here, goes out of the way, and there it is. Very simple, okay? This thing took me 30 minutes to do this job while on the camera, no more than that. Okay, and then after that, make sure you tighten both of these 10 millimeters nice and tight. They are not that, you know, if you want to torque them, but after you're done, make sure you pump the brake pedals and take it for a drive and give it a good, you're gonna have to drive and brake in the brake pads. The procedure to brake in the brake pads is to drive this baby from 35 to 5 miles per hour, come down on the speed. Do not completely stop, and then just take off once you reach about 5 to 7 miles per hour. Again and again, do that for about a good half an hour, and you should be good. That should eat up the material that the brake pad has. So this does have a braking material on top of this brake pad, and that will break in your brake pads and rotors and give it a good match. And you should be good. No squeeze, no noises. Make sure you pump the brake pedal 3 to 4 or 5 times before you start up the vehicle. Do both sides, put the wheels on, and take it for a spin. Anyways, thank you for watching my video, guys. Stay tuned for more videos.